Okay. Hello everyone. I'm Manish Upadhyay, co-founded Globalised. In terms of my current focus, my focus is to create effective and scalable learning solution, ideally for every learner, but we have made a small start. In this company, English Edge, we are focused on making students more confident speakers of English language and eventually making them more employable. The way we do it is we take use of technology to the hilt, and we are exploiting technology to push English spoken skills to next level. We have recently signed and launched tablet-based products, and it has met with some success. It's early days to say that it has been a successful product, but we have seen some success. For the purpose of today's topic, which is capacity building and content in localized learning in global context, I will take a very technology lens view of the entire solution, because it's a vast subject. It needs a complete day conference to address capacity building kind of an issue. To start with, I will first define school, and this is how I define school. At the middle block, you can see it's a classroom, which is the core of the school. It consists of teacher and students. Beyond that is the entire school system, consisting of principal, administrative people, other teachers, unions, other students and friends of the students. Beyond that would be the community, which is home and the extended community of the students, and eventually the entire world, because now we see it through internet and other mechanisms. We are touching each and every student in the world itself. Right? So this would be the complete domain of school. And when we talk about capacity building, actually we are talking about touching all these roles in the system. So you have to talk about teacher, you have to talk about student, you have to talk about parents, you have to talk about the school board. You have to talk about everyone when you talk about capacity building. Until you address all the issues related to all of them, the change is not going to be substantial. Right? So I'll first start with the capacity building piece, and I will look at the supply side of the issues. And again, this is very indicative list. In terms of list, it will be a huge list, but there are two broad areas I have said: infrastructure and teachers. Infrastructure, we are saying there are not enough and permanent schools, there are not enough space within the schools to do a lot of interesting things, separate toilets for girl students and so on. So there are a whole lot of infrastructure issues on the supply side. On the teachers, so the classical and major issue of teacher-student ratio. How can you get to an ideal figure of 15:1 or 10:1 rather than 60:1 or 100:1? So how can you get that kind of system in place? How can you improve teacher attendance? How can you train and reskill teachers? How can you abolish system of multi-grade teaching? Right. So what I am going to do is I will just touch upon briefly about the challenges and focus more on the possibilities and the solutions that are available, which we have shortlisted as company. So first of all, teacher training, I think, is the core of the problem. Teacher is the prime driver of the change, and we have to focus all our efforts on teacher primarily. And we have to create a lot of mechanism and give tools, and not do just one day workshop or a week workshop for teachers, but give them some tools so that they can do continuous learning on their own. And there are a whole lot of devices now available that you can issue to the teacher, so the teacher can do continuous upgrade of their skills. There are centralized training tracking tools. So from monitoring of teachers' perspective, there are a whole lot of, again, tools available where you can monitor whether teachers are doing things the way they should. This is an example from a company called DTM, Design That Matters, Kinkajou projector, and it's a very excellent example of how they have come, how they have solved the problem of electricity in Africa. So this is a project in Mali where they have created a microfilm-based projector which charges during the day, and they use this projector to teach literacy class at the night. And this is one of the best examples I have seen on the projector side. Right. Then there are examples like Bridge IT Tanzania project. What they have done is they have taken mobile in a very interesting fashion. They are using mobile to download the video content, and they project that video content through a TV, which is prevalent everywhere. So they are using mobile and TV combination to address the problem of access in some sense and to provide a world-class education system. English is one very good program, again launched by government of Bihar, and it's a radio-based program which runs, and this is how the class looks like. So there is a radio, and you have half an hour, 4 days a week, 122 episode English learning program. 65,000 primary schools in all 38 districts have at least access to some quality teacher in some sense. Right? So this is another interesting initiative which is available in India, and we need to replicate more such cases. Then there is government commitment from South Korea government that they will give tablets to all students by 2015. They are investing $2 billion to do that particular project. So you need also government intervention to make available lots of devices and things to the students. There is another example from our company, and which is what we are saying English Edge Portable Lab, where we have tried to address the infrastructure issue of if you don't have space, if the lab is within the trolley. So it comes with a 21 tablet, it sets up the wireless network, wherever it go, it has a centralized charging mechanism. Because it is based on tablet, which gives 6 to 7 hours of battery backup, wherever there is inconsistent electricity supply in India, you can also use this, charge it at night and run a complete school. So this is another interesting solution in this table, which is already available in India in some sense. All right. Excuse me, the mouse is not working. So let me go back. Okay. On the capacity building demand side, right? So that was supply side, making available infrastructure and teacher training issues. On the demand side, if you look at the challenges, there is a very good model by an organization called CREATE. It calls the 6 zones of exclusion. So it depicts how a student who is not entering primary school to entering upper primary to actually going till class 8, what are the kind of challenges company like India is facing, and why students are not coming to the schools. So it addresses all those issues, especially linked to handling first generation learners. Because first generation learners don't have people back home to motivate them to learn. They have to be highly motivated to learn on their own. How to reduce dropout and non-enrollment and low attendance kind of issues. The second big issue which I think is extremely important is pedagogy. How can you make pedagogy so strong that students actually are motivated to learn? Parents actually see the benefit and the outcome, right? So this is another example, again available in India, MV Foundation Shankarpali Mandal project, where what they were seeing was there was, because students were stuck at one particular level, the parents were not interested. So they created an entire movement, class 1 Khali Karo movement. And that entire focus was to how to move students from class 1 to the second class and to the subsequent class. And they involved the entire community, that no child would work in this particular community, and let's make it a success. And this project was a huge success, spoken about all across the world. Right. Parents' engagement. So how can you give awareness and monitoring tools to the parents? They are very interesting audio computers, kind of an example. So if you look at, I will look at that in the next year. You can actually have a $10 kind of an audio device given to the parents that can act as a computer. Learning devices. So augmented learning through mobile. So there are now location-based learning devices available, right? You can do this kind of learning. You can actually take your mobile to a particular area. For example, from literacy, you click a picture of an apple, and it will tell you from encyclopedia that what all properties apple has. So you can do a lot of things based on location-based learning using interesting new devices. Again, this is available throughout the world, right? Okay. Collaborative community-led learning. Farm Village and another interesting example which is available on Facebook. So here you can create your own farm. You can buy your own vegetables. You can purchase. You can trade. So through this particular community-led initiative, there are a huge number of students who are planting their own seeds, planting their own farm, and they are learning agricultural things in the process. You can do similar kind of projects for other subject areas, and excellent example of collaborative community-led learning. Coming on to the content, I think the content is something like this. We started off with a transmission is the first level of pedagogy. We say that everything is monologue, tell. So teacher tells students what to do. To generative, where we say that have process of inquiry built into the system, so that students are also thinking while they are learning. And then to the critical stage, we are saying that how can you move your learning from classroom to the outside world and make it relevant. So in the first stage, you are saying traditional content to content, and the process of learning is extremely important to think critically about the world. And that is where you're saying that apart from self, there is to be social transformation also. Right. Examples, this first part, transmission of content, is completely created by experts. To generative content, where you say that structure is created by the experts, but user generates the content. So there are lots of examples available like Wikipedia and others, where the structure is created by the experts, but the content is populated by the users and the community itself. And the third stage, where critical, we're saying, how can you create community into the entire system? So how can you have a localized feel to the entire content? And to get the localized feel to the entire content, you have to get the community involved. And another example, again, I don't think it has met with massive success, but community radio happens to be one such program where, if done properly, community can have their own content and relevant for the entire community. And that is when you discuss about local issues in the learning context and learn about the entire thing. So in essence, these are the areas that needs to get addressed in the overall scheme of things. The important point, and the last point I would like to make, I will make it very short, is enough has been spoken and written about challenges to ad infinitum levels. So these are the challenges, this is what we face, this is what we do. What are other interesting solutions or possible solutions that one has to explore, has to be in everyone's minds and everyone's agenda. And that is what we as a company also trying to do. We want to take English to a level where spoken English is spoken by each and every Indian, and we have to look at interesting ways to make it happen. And technology maybe one of the answers. There are a whole lot of critics who are saying that technology is not the answer. What are you talking about technology? They are not pen and paper in the school. So there are a whole lot of those debates also going around, which is also important, because you then know the perspective and the challenges and you work around and address technology accordingly. Thank you.